to our final session for today, which is how do we go about measuring if your email sequences is work, right? So we've got Elizabeth Jacobi, the founder of MochaBear.com, who's going to be diving into goal setting and how to track conversions and effectiveness of your email sequences. She's known as the expert in the email marketing field with over 20 years of experience. She's the founder of MochaBear Marketing, an email marketing consultancy that helps small and mid-sized businesses develop effective marketing strategies. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be here. Nice to meet you. Nice to
Nice to meet
see
you as
everyone
well.
virtually.
Absolutely perfect. So I'm going to, walk off stage. I'm going to give you the stage. It's all yours. We would love to hear more from you on that. Yeah.
Sure. I'm going to present. Hold on. Let me see if I can get my screen to share with everyone. Hopefully, I don't see the slides on the screen. I'm not sure if there's someone there from Melmoto. Now I do. Okay, so let's begin. So the topic is how to measure if your email sequences will work and are working. So you may have heard lots of names for email sequences. Well, first, I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Elizabeth Jacobi, as they mentioned. My consultancy is MochaBear Marketing. I help small and mid-sized businesses, and I'm very passionate about email, but specifically email sequences, customer journey, and we'll talk about what the differences are with email sequences and customer journeys. As you probably have heard, there are various names. We call it lifecycle marketing. We call it customer journey. We call it email flows, email series, sequences, automations. Really, it's all the same thing. It is about sending the right message at the right time where someone is in their relationship with your specific brand. So we can go on to the next slide. So again, it's about the right time and the right message. So you've probably heard when people talk about customer journey, we usually define that, regardless of the industry you're in, as awareness, consideration, purchase, and retention. And I really like to simplify things. I like to say you want to map out your objectives and goals. Then you want to map out the flow. Then you create your emails, you implement, and then track and analyze. So I always start by developing a map, and this can be a whiteboard. This can be, something in Canva, whatever you are comfortable with. It is important to develop a map. By the time you log into your email platform and start building out your sequences, you want to have some idea in mind about what you are going to be mapping out and the journey or sequence that you want to send your subscribers on. So it's really important to kind of map this out, regardless of the platform you use. You want to map this out even before you go into the platform. This way, by the time you go in, you're going to have a very clear idea in your head about what you want, the journey you want to send your subscribers on. So we can go to the next slide. So one thing I always like to remind people, you have your email marketing goals, but those are not the goals for your journey. The goals for your journey is what business goals do you want to achieve by sending out an email? And that should be the case whether it's a sequence or a regular marketing message. You want to map this into your business goals. And then you want to figure out what action is it that you want your subscribers to take. That could be an appointment, a reservation, brand awareness. There really needs to be some type of action that you are thinking about when you plan your email. And then you also want to think about, for sequences, is email the only touch point? Or am I reaching them through another channel, such as SMS? And that can go into your map, because it's really important that if you are sending on multi-channels, that you really think about what the customer experience or subscriber experience is. And then you also want to define your long and short-term goals. And keep in mind that an email sequence can be one email, it can last 30 days, 90 days, or even more. And also, A/B testing is critical today. Often we think we know what our subscribers want, but the reality is the data and the analytics is really going to tell us if what we're thinking is right. So how do we make sure that our email sequences are meeting our business objectives? You're going to want to find a reporting tool. Often this is even in Excel, which can bring in your email metrics and your goal metrics. So that can be offline metrics. If you have a full-blown CRM, hopefully you're able to bring all that data in so that you can look at it holistically. And again, if you're A/B testing, which is very important today for email, you're going to want to determine which emails perform best, which don't, and then optimize that against your business goals. So you may have an email that you love as part of your sequence, and you're A/B testing, and you find out that the B is outperforming the A. At some point, you probably want to drop out the A from your sequence. So testing is really important. I can't tell you how many times when I have created an email and I'm discussing it with a client that we say, okay, we really like this email. It's going to do great, but we're going to test it. And then the test proves what we liked as wrong. The audience liked the other version. So the other thing is you're going to determine when you will measure success. All sequences are a different length. So if you have a welcome series that goes out for the first 3 days after someone subscribes, you may be able to determine success very quickly. In other cases, you may have a sequence that lasts months. And you need to just keep in mind that you're going to have your short-term goals and your long-term goals, and really determine when you're going to be measuring. Just keep a calendar of it and decide you're going to measure for short-term goals in 30 days, but long-term goals may take a lot longer. And goals can be different. It can be different based on your industry. You can also have emails that are branding versus sales. So I work with a lot of different industries, and you'll see here, so this is mostly food related, restaurant related. Their goal is obviously not necessarily to sell online. So you could have an email sequence that's a welcome, something to drive people back in, to upsell them on catering. So in this case, yes, we can look at email metrics and say this email performed very well, but we need to take in the goals into consideration. So what we really want to look at in these cases are how many orders we drove. If it's more of a fine dining restaurant, we might look at reservations. So really, again, you're mapping in your business goals to your email goals and your email metrics. You may also have a welcome series or a sequence that is more about brand awareness. And on the next slide, you'll see an example that is really more geared towards brand awareness. So this is an example where this is really all about the brand and encouraging people to really engage with the brand. There is very little selling in this type of series. It is more creating that relationship with your subscriber. Yes, the end goal is obviously to result in a sale, whether you are an entrepreneur selling services, whether you are selling, in this case, yoga and books, you could be an e-commerce business. Of course, the end goal is always the sale. But keep in mind, the sale, there is a whole relationship between relating to your customer, getting to know them, letting them getting to know you, building brand awareness, and eventually the sale. If you are sending sequences or even one-off emails, assuming that you are going to get a sale from every single one, it's not going to happen. I would love to say every time we send an email, 100% of our subscribers also purchase. It's not the reality. You really want a sequence that is going to drive to your business goals and build that relationship. So, why is goal conversion tracking important? You really want to ensure that your efforts are spent in the right place. You don't want to spend a lot of time on something where either your short or long term goal is not meeting your business need. And what works today may not work in a few months or even a few years. And I always use this example from the COVID lockdown. A lot of brands had sequences, customer journeys, things that were running. And obviously, everything changed. So, in that case, what they had for their sequences may or may not work for that time. And that is the same across the board. You really want to make sure that what works today is also going to be working tomorrow and is relevant. And that is why we really want to think about what our subscribers want, what the analytics show, and then also what is going on in the environment, whether that is your local environment, a broader environment. It kind of depends on where you're selling. And then built-in tools versus add-on. It's very important today to kind of simplify things. A lot of platforms have tools that are built in for tracking, and that's great, because why complicate things? Why have to have, 10 different tools to track your success, your business success, when hopefully you could have one, maybe two. And then things to avoid. One thing, while we often refer to sequences as set it and forget it, that's not the case. As I mentioned with the COVID example, those could not be set it and forget it. They were for a while, and then they had to be redone. That is the case with all sequences. Your business could change. What's going on in the environment could change. The metrics may show that what was working a year ago is not working today. So keep in mind, while these are set it and forget it, it's like a loose set it and forget it. And then again, success cannot be measured solely by the email performance. Often I hear people say that email performed great because I had a very high click rate. I had a very high open rate. And that is correct, that email performed very well. However, you want to measure that against your business goals, which are usually revenue or some type of call to action. And you definitely want to make sure that you're not just looking at your email performance, that you're looking at the overall performance of your brand. And then don't just create a sequence just because everyone else does. Yes, having a sequence, customer journey, automation, whatever you're calling it today, lifecycle messaging is a best practice, and it is important. But you really want to think about planning and mapping. Then you want to implement, you want to execute, and you also want to analyze. If you avoid, or if you do those things and you avoid just creating something because everyone else does, you are going to see better success from your email marketing as well as your business. So If you have any questions about email, email sequence, email marketing in general, I'm always open to chatting. You can send me a message at Elizabeth at MochaBear Marketing.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, and I often publish articles about email marketing, offering tips. I have a newsletter, so feel free to reach out. I am always happy to answer any email marketing questions that you might have. It was great to talk to you guys today.
All right, thank you so much, Elizabeth. It was definitely wonderful hearing from you and the insights that you gave us. Luckily, we don't have any Q&A session. I guess everyone's the session was pretty self-explanatory, right? So, thank you once again for joining us, right? And
Thank you
with
for
that,
having me.
it's a wrap from our end, guys.